Come along with me this week as I learn to TIG weld from scratch. I will fail many times. And I'll start with some welds that look like this, but eventually end up like this. And before you know it, I'm able to patch the floor on my buddy's 1973 Dodge Charger. If you've been following along the build of Jeff's 1973 Dodge Charger, you know this car has a lot of character. And by character, I mean rust, and boy is there plenty of it. Now this week, we're planning to patch the rear floor pans, and normally I'd reach for my trusty MiG 200 from Arccaptain right here. It's a perfectly capable unit to get the job done. But here's the thing, guys. I love to learn new things. I love to grow my skills. And when Arccaptain reached out and asked if I would be interested in testing their TIG 205P Pro unit, I saw this as the perfect opportunity for me to finally learn how to TIG weld. So today I'm starting from ground zero and I'm going to learn how to TIG weld sheet metal using this Arccaptain TIG 205P Pro TIG welder. Let's quickly go over what this welder comes with and what it doesn't. This welder obviously comes with the main unit here. It comes with a TIG torch that has a finger control on it. There is no foot pedal with this unit. It's got the ground clamp. It comes with the hose, though I will say my hose was leaking straight out of the box. I did contact Arccaptain and they immediately sent me a replacement hose, so good customer service on their part. It does come with a 220 to 110 adapter. It does not come with the regulator, so you're gonna have to pick up a regulator for yourself. This was 80 bucks from Harbor Freight. It obviously does not come with a gas tank, so you're gonna need 100% argon. It does come with some torch accessories here. There's a couple different size cups. There's collets for 1/16, 3/32, and 1/8 tungsten sizes, and it does come with 1/332 tungsten. What it does not come with is this TIG welding torch accessory kit and the 10-pack of electrodes. Now, I'm gonna say right off the bat, buy a 10-pack of electrodes. If you are a beginner, you are going to need these electrodes. Don't rely on the one single one that comes in the package. It all should almost just be mandatory if you're a beginner, buy this package. And the first thing you should do when you get that 10-pack of tungsten is you should take it out, sharpen every single one of them, and have them there ready to go. This is a tip I picked up from Carl Fisher over on the Make It Custom YouTube channel. In the past, I've tried to use a machine and I've had the one electrode that came with the machine, and every time I stuck that electrode, I would get so frustrated because I'd have to stop what I'm doing, take it out, sharpen the electrode, and 2 seconds later, I would do the exact same thing and have to take it out all over again. So as a beginner, as you're practicing, as you're improving on your skills, having those 10 tungstens, even if you just sharpen 5 of them, having them out on the table, you stick the tungsten, you can take that one out, put a new one in. It's much faster than having to continually sharpen. And then once you burn through all of them, sharpen all 5 of them at once. You've got them all there ready to go for you. So I'm telling you, that was the best tip that I could possibly have as I was starting to learn with this welder. Made a huge difference, and I think you should take advantage of that tip as well. And then obviously, in addition, you're gonna need your PPE, you're gonna need some gloves, you're gonna need a welding helmet, obviously. And then this is something that is not mandatory, but I 100% recommend it. Go check out Heat Shield products. They have these nice welding pillows. They also have an assortment of welding blankets. So if you need to protect your project, the car you're welding on, anything, you can get these various different types of welding blankets. So check out heatshieldproducts.com. These guys have been awesome. I would love for you to give them your business. Now, we're quickly gonna go through the settings on this welder. When you come over here to the mode button, there are 4 different modes for this welder. The first one, standard TIG welding. You go down one, that's pulse TIG welding. You go over one, that's lift TIG, scratch TIG. You go up, this is just straight stick welding. Now, I primarily use this welder on just the standard TIG mode. That's where I had the most success. And in that mode, there are 3 adjustments that you need to worry about. The first one is just your amperage setting. The rule of thumb for the amperage is 1 amp for every 1,000th of an inch of thickness. So we're going to be using this 18 gauge, which is a little over 40 thousandths, so between 40 and 50 thousandths. And what I found was about 45 amps actually was kind of the sweet spot. I could weld pretty consistently up to 55 amps. If I got much above that, we were starting to get a little too hot. So 1 amp for every 1,000th of an inch thickness for your material is a good place to start. Just below that, this T down, it's the time it takes for the arc to come down after you release the trigger, and that's in seconds. So right now we've got this set at half a second. I found this useful for if I was modulating the finger trigger up and down to limit the heat. If you want a soft stop so that that arc is just kind of dwindles down and then you pull the trigger and it comes back up, you can set this time to be longer. If you want a hard stop, you can set this time to be shorter. So that's how I found that setting to be useful. And then lastly is the gas post flow. We've got that set at 2 seconds. You definitely want some post flow gas afterwards to help cool the weld and keep any oxidations from creating porosity in the weld once you stop welding in that spot. Lastly here, we've got the couple different weld functions here, 2T, 4T, and spot welding. 2T, you press the trigger, it welds. You release the trigger, it stops. 4T, you press and release the trigger, it's going to weld. You have to press and release the trigger again to stop it. And then lastly, spot welding, you're going to press the trigger. It's going to kick that tungsten on for a period of time to create a spot weld, and then it's going to stop, even if you hold the trigger down. You have to release it and then press it down again to get another spot weld. Before I even attempt to make a repair on Jeff's charger, I needed to practice. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. I took some scrap sheet metal and I just practiced laying beads down on top of the flat sheet metal. And of course, I stuck the electrode over and over again, which led to having to sharpen the electrodes many times. Now, as I gained confidence in being able to actually lay a bead down just on flat sheet metal, I progressed to welding 2 pieces of sheet metal together. This was going to exactly mimic the repairs I was doing on the trunk floor of the charger. After many hours of practice, I was finally able to lay down some beads between the 2 panels that I thought were more than acceptable for a first-timer. With some confidence in hand, it was finally time to start repairing the charger floor. First, I took a wire wheel to the rusty area of the floor pan. With the floor pan relatively clean, I then marked out where exactly I was going to be patching the floor. I removed all of the spot welds between the frame rails and the sheet metal, and then I separated and cut out the rusty floor pan. Next, I cut a sheet metal patch using the original floor as a template. I took care to fit the patch with minimal gaps between the existing floor and the new floor patch. I want to take a quick break from fixing the floors on Jeff's chargers to talk about Super Clean. Now, you guys that watch the channel already know that I use Super Clean for all my automotive needs. They have a fantastic degreaser that I use in my ultrasonic cleaner. I use it in diluted spray bottles. I use it for just about anything that is greasy and grimy. Now, the people over at Super Clean want to get their product in your hands, so they have reached out and they have asked if we can do a giveaway on this channel. So this week we are doing the first ever product giveaway on Cody Builds. Now, all you need to do is subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below in this video. This giveaway is going to go for 1 week only, so you need to comment on this video before my next video comes out the following Friday. Now, I'm gone on vacation this week for my wife's birthday, and so I'm going to let her select the winner for this giveaway. So maybe keep that in mind when you're leaving your comments down below. The Thursday following the release of this video, my wife is going to select one winner to win this Super Clean care package. After getting this panel fit into place, we went ahead and punched out all of our spot welds and then went ahead and primed the back of this with weld-through primer. Now, I've already treated inside the frame rails, got our flanges up here where we're going to be welding to treated with weld-through primer. I cleaned up all of our edges all the way around. So all that's left to do now is to weld this thing in place. I'm going to put my newfound TIG welding skills to use and see just how well I can TIG weld this patch into place. there you have it, guys. My first attempt at TIG welding. You know, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I got some really good spots where I got in a good rhythm in here, and I had a really nice tight fit on the panel. And then I had other spots like in here where the old metal was paper thin, and I kept blowing holes and trying to fill it. And I did challenge myself to fill these spots, and I did eventually get there. It's not too dissimilar to, say, like MIG welding and how you fill gaps and stuff, but just a little bit more challenging. Now, like I said, not the most perfect welds in the world, and I probably got too much heat in the panel in certain spots, but that's why we're practicing, because I can see the advantages that TIG welding has over MIG welding. I can see that when you get in a rhythm and you get some good clean metal and you're working through that, you can move very rapidly and you can get really small beads that fill in and are almost darn near flat themselves. So to go back and clean this all up is going to be super, super simple compared to MIG welding. Like, check here where I was filling a gap right at the end because the gap was just a little too big for me. And you can see just how much bigger that bead is, even than here where I was really challenged to fill some really crummy material right here with the TIG welder. So I see what the advantages are, and this is why I've wanted to learn how to TIG weld all along. So what are my takeaways from learning how to TIG weld with this Arccaptain TIG205P Pro? I would say that the first thing as a beginner, that you just need to be prepared for failure. You are going to fail. You are going to stick the tungsten. You guys see me do it how many times in this video. And that's okay, because you're learning. You're not going to be an expert right off the bat. So be patient. Take your time. Don't expect perfect results right away. Heaven knows I did not get perfect results on that floor pan, but I got perfectly acceptable results. Number two, the thing that I found to be most useful is once I got into the rhythm of feeding filler wire, I found it very helpful to watch the puddle and not the electrode. So once I got a feel for how deep the electrode should be and the rhythm of dragging that electrode or pushing that electrode and pushing the puddle, I got much more comfortable watching the pedal and had much better results once I was able to watch the weld puddle and not just solely focus on where the electrode was. I found when I'm focusing on that electrode, I end up sitting in one spot for way too long, getting the panel too hot. So that is probably one of the bigger tips that I found useful. And I guess the last thing is, like, MIG welding is a lot easier to learn. TIG welding is going to take a lot more time and practice and effort to get better at it, but it does have a place in the shop. There's much less surface cleanup after the fact with the TIG welder than there is with the MIG welder. Now, I could have knocked that patch out really fast with the MIG welder, but it would have taken me 2 or 3 times longer to clean up the weld and all of this spatter and everything else on the floor pan. So would I recommend this unit? If you're a beginner, heck yes. I had really good luck with this thing. Never skipped a beat on me. Very easy to set up, very intuitive. There's just not much to it. One other thing to consider is I was kind of a stickler. I really wanted an AC welding, AC and DC welding unit. I'll tell you this, I tried welding aluminum with an AC TIG welder last weekend with very little experience. So to be honest with you guys, this is only the 3rd time I've used a TIG welder. The other 2 times, once I tried to weld some stainless exhaust tube, I got so frustrated because I stuck the tungsten so many times, I quit, gave up, put it aside, and I didn't touch the TIG welder again for several months. Last weekend when we did the topper, you guys saw that topper video, I had to weld just like 4 1-inch welds, and I had no option. We had to do the AC welding. I've got a buddy, my buddy Shay, who's been on the channel. He had previously given me some TIG welding suggestions and told me how imperative it is to keep the aluminum clean. I just didn't have the skill and the ability to run the foot pedal, control everything. So what I love about this unit is it's got that little finger trigger instead of using the foot pedal. To me, that is a huge bonus because I have no hand-foot coordination. I'd be a terrible soccer player. I'd be a terrible drummer. I have a little bit better hand-eye coordination. I was a decent baseball player. So for me, using the torch with the finger trigger on it was much simpler, much easier. And as a beginner, I really appreciated that. So for me, the thing is about not having AC on this unit is I don't have the skill to weld aluminum. I'm just gonna tell you guys that right up front right now. At this point in time, welding aluminum is much more difficult than welding steel. I will tell you that much. The weld puddle behaves completely different from how it does with the steel, in my opinion. And I'm just a beginner, so don't take my word for all of this. But I had to stop and think, how much aluminum welding do I really need to do? I had to do it last week But that was kind of a unique project. Most of the things that you're gonna do on an automotive repair are gonna be steel-based. There's very little aluminum unless you're in the racing industry. And if you are, then yeah, maybe you want an AC welder. This little DC welder does everything that I need it to do. It didn't skip a beat, and I've really come to enjoy the Arccaptain brand. I'm just gonna tell you guys that flat out. Yes, they've given me 2 welders, but the ease of use, the quality of these 2 little units has been fantastic, and you cannot beat the price on these things. Speaking of price, you enter referral code CODYBUILDS, you're gonna get yourself an additional 5% off. So if you're considering purchasing the Arccaptain MIG200, the TIG205P Pro unit, or any other Arccaptain unit, use referral code CODYBUILDS. You're gonna help me out, you're gonna help yourself out, saving a few bucks. I am just absolutely over the moon thrilled with how that turned out. I had pretty low expectations, to be honest with you guys. I was really not even sure if I was gonna be able to get that patch done this week. But I was darn sure gonna try, and try we did, and eventually we got to something that I think for a first time TIG welder turned out pretty good. I can be proud of that, even though, you know, by a regular welder standard, that's probably not very good welding. By my standards as a beginner, I'm happy with it. And that's all that really matters, if I'm happy with it. Same thing goes with your projects, guys. Don't worry so much about what other people think. Do what you like, do what you love. Learn new skills, fail a few times. You will be surprised at how much you learn and how much better your skills get, and you'll move your projects forward, because we all know if you don't work on your projects, they will not work on themselves. So get out in the garage, get building, and I'll see you on the next episode of Cody Builds.